Alright, we've not done one of these for a few weeks. We've got someone from Junior Detectives there. It's a big tank week. Hat's really important this week. DSR can get a lot of value. So we're just going to start off. We're just going to cycle that fart. And our opponents looks like they've gone Goth. So that is one of the options this week. Not one of the more popular ones. It's a bit too easy to take out. So we're just going to start off by dropping Cartman here. We're going to let the Goths get into motion. Sally's going to get taken out by Firkle. Oh no, she survives him. Here comes Henrietta, right, and we're going to use Hat to melt Henrietta. So I make sure I hit that properly, and then we'll just drop Ned. We'll use Cartman's charge here, and we should melt her down pretty damn quick. You see my opponent's throwing everything, but their tank's already dead, so that push is not going to work. They've not managed to take out my Cartman either, so we're now pushing onto their new kid. A couple of my ranged units are onto the Bradley. Probably could have saved that charge, but it doesn't matter. So we get the first bar there. All my units survive, pushing in for a second. Opponent's going to struggle with this, so my opponent is going to drop Scuzz. We can just DSR Scuzz down. There's a second bar by Hat. Alright, hopefully the charge... Oh, it's left 71 health. Scuzz dies, and then we just get the win. So, Goth's not doing a good job there. Yell 862 from 4PDA 2.0. See what we got to start with. Nothing great here. We wouldn't start with Jimbo, he walks too fast. We could use Mosquito, he's quite slow. Could also use Archangel. So we'll start with Mosquito behind the new kid. He'll walk over to Jimbo. Jimbo's AoE will hit the Mosquito swarm, so Mosquito's not going to be able to tank Jimbo. So we'll just start Ned behind the new kid, and then we'll get our own Jimbo up front. Hopefully we can catch visitors in his cone. Yes, we do. And we've got a nice little DSR for everybody there, so we'll go ahead and hit that. Alright, looks like Jimbo's just about surviving there, managing to take out the Scout. The Scout did manage to farm a bit of energy onto us, but we have managed to deal with the opponent's push. Not really got much coming to their side of the battlefield. DSR is going to die before she gets there. And Cartman is going to intercept Ned and take care of Ned. So we'll just let him do that. Here comes his charge. We don't want to let him get too far across the line. I don't want him to hit my new kid. I think I placed my Cartman just slightly too far back there. Oh no, so we did protect the new kid, so placed him just right. My opponent's hit Hat, as you can see, but he's not got the units on the battlefield to make Hat effective. So now we hit that Cartman charge, and that gets all 3 units. So you can see even with the Hat debuff, my Cartman beats his Cartman. There's no point dropping Hat if you've not got the units to back it up, otherwise it's just not going to do the job fast enough. So now we're on for the first bar, so Sally and Ike taking the first bar. Mosquito's there, doesn't quite lock on, but then Jimbo manages to hit the new kid. We're also going to try and melt his Jimbo with our Hat. So that is how you use Hat. That is a much better way. So completely melt the Jimbo. There's got no way to protect the third bar. That was a very, very good use of Hat. Alright, let's look at the next game. Right, we've got Gary 23 from Zadaya Park. Don't know how to say that. I'm assuming that's German. Alright. We can Assassin Poke to open, probably do that with Sally. I could cycle Purify, but I'm just going to leave it in my hand in case I draw into Cartman. Purify is there to counter the Power Bind. You can also use it to counter a freeze effect, but it's much better used to make sure that your Cartman can charge. As you can see, charge very, very powerful there. Looks like we did get a hit in with Ike, so I'm just going to drop Archangel because we're at 10 energy. Right, and we have cycled into our own Cartman. That's good. My opponent's got Cartman and Archangel on the battlefield as well, so we're kind of evenly matched here. I could use Hat, but I could do with another unit good to go before we do that. So we'll get Mosquito down, and then we'll hit the Hat. So that's going to draw my Archangel away, which unfortunately means he's going to take some hits, but if that draws his Archangel into Cartman's blast, it did not, sadly. I was hoping to catch him out, but we should be able to lock onto Archangel with the visitors. One of them has, one of them's on Jimbo. So it looks like we should defend this push successfully. I'm just going to use DSR there. Unfortunately, Cartman dies before his blast gets off. And right, looks like we've got an alternate human kite here. So he's going to jump backwards. Our Sallys are going to exchange and he's going to walk forward. I can't remember what he was opposite this week. Maybe visitors. Not seen a lot of him around at all. Right, so my opponent's Ike was coming in for the visitor there, so just fart him away to save visitor and to protect my new kid. And now my visitor's going to lock on and get a little residual damage before he dies. He's not going to take a bar, but look at that. He gets my opponent easily within Cartman's blast range, so that puts us at an advantage. My opponent restarting the push with Cartman behind his new kid. I've got that Jimbo Ned combo in hand, good to go. I've also got Mosquito. I'm going to drop him because I am at 10 energy. This could be quite messy. I just need to get a little bit of damage on my opponent's new kid. I don't want... It looks like it's going to come down to 1 bar potentially. That's why I've dropped Cartman where I have to stop his Cartman getting too close. So he discharges there and he's already used his hat. And he's dropped his Jimbo, so he's giving us a really nice DSR there. We're going to hit that. My Cartman will get melted, unfortunately, so we'll just drop my own Jimbo right into my opponent's DSR. As you can see, though, we've taken not 1 but 2 bars, so all we need to do is play defensively here. We've only got 13 seconds left, so I'm just going to drop units between that massive push and my new kid. We'll just fart to slow them down. Drop the visitors, we can drop Sally. Yeah, easily defending the bar there. So, good game. That could have gone either way. All right. See you soon.